Judge Lynn Tyler. Y'all all may know her from the popular show Divorce Court. Well, apparently the judge had some things to say about today's labels. You know the labels I'm talking about. It ain't that hard to find out. Simps, pick-me's. Pick-me's and simps. I understand you all hear those terms a lot, and many of you done had it up to here when it comes to it. But she said something that I think everyone should tune into. This something a little different. Y'all check it. Check it.
We're too much on the labels these days. You know, we've got simps and pick-me's, and I was on a conversation about my marriage at one point, and I talked about how my husband had 4 kids, and he had just gotten divorced, so his finances were crazy, and I had no debt, no kids, no problems, had money in the bank, and I married him, and someone called me a pick-me because I didn't get a high-value man or didn't engage in hypergamy. And then once we got married, instead of him setting the purpose and the dream, he realized that, man, her purpose and her dream is gonna get both of us further. So he practically shut down his shop to help me become a judge, and then he went across the country to allow me to be on TV, and dropped his practice. So yeah, maybe I was a pick-me, and maybe he's a simp. But given the way things turned out, I'm simply glad he picked me. And you would be too.
You know, labels are created to give life and light to a situation that could be helpful or not. For example, the simps don't do the game no good because of their coddling behavior. The inability to say no. So you act the way you act. And then when y'all break up, you send your ex into the world for us to deal with. She was spoiled rotten, bruh. She wasn't walking in her natural because of you. And now things need some straightening. Same with the pick-me's, which is supposed to be somewhat close to what a simp is. The problem is not the term. The problem is that when people create labels, they abuse them. Run them into the ground till they get to the point nobody understands the true meaning of the term. So here you have a bunch of women who honestly have pure intentions, that don't seek 100% validation from no man. They just doing what they feel they should be doing, which is adding on, contributing however way they can to make the relationship work. And then you got the guys who get hell from the dusty ninjas, calling them simps because the man doing what he's supposed to be doing. Here we have a bunch of folks in the world that's doing what they're supposed to be doing that aligns with their program. And then we got a bunch of lazy, bitter people who misuse the term and throw it on you. And because there are so many folks out here in the world, it shouldn't surprise you that the misunderstanding has made it this far amongst us. As long as you ain't losing a piece of you, especially for what you were called for. Don't allow these labels to get in your head, because truth be told, as much as people want to use these labels as loosely as they do, they don't ever want to sit down and have a conversation about how these labels destroyed us as well. There are so many individuals that can't think for themselves. And just because of a label that they heard from someone, and just because of a label that they heard from someone who tossed it towards them, now their situation is a little rocky now, because they don't have the glasses to see that the situation they do have is actually in alignment with them. But this is why you got to have a mind of your own. You'll miss out on so much in life from not observing and listening to every damn body that sound like they right. You know how many people miserable right the now because they didn't use the discernment that God gave them? Just up. I'ma listen to what the crazy world got to say. I'ma rock with it. Now your whole life gone.